Chosen one, you've been feeling different lately, haven't you? This is why. The shift you can't explain. Something inside you changed. Not slowly, but suddenly. The things that once excited you now feel empty. The people you once trusted feel distant. It's like your soul woke up overnight and started rejecting everything that isn't real. This isn't confusion, this is awakening. And when you awaken, everything that was built on illusion begins to fall apart. You were never like them. From the beginning, you felt it. You never truly fit in. Even in a crowded room, you felt alone, like you were observing, not belonging. That's because you were never meant to blend in. You were designed to stand apart, to see deeper, to feel more. The silent battles you fight. No one sees your struggles. They don't understand the mental wars, the emotional weight, the spiritual pressure. You smile outside, but inside, you've been fighting battles that would break most people. And yet you're still here. That's not weakness. That's proof of something greater protecting you. God's protection is not always gentle. Listen carefully. When God protects you, it doesn't always feel good. Sometimes He removes people you love. Sometimes He breaks plans you were sure about. It feels like loss, but it's actually protection. Because not everyone who walks with you is meant to stay with you. The truth about your enemies. Your enemies are not always obvious. Some smile in your face, some pretend to support you. But their energy, their intentions were never aligned with your purpose. And now God is exposing them, one by one. Why people turn against you. Have you noticed? People switch on you for no clear reason. They misunderstand you, they judge you, they even try to bring you down. It's not random. Your light triggers their darkness. Your energy is disruptive. You carry something rare. A presence that shifts rooms, that makes people uncomfortable without saying a word. Because your energy exposes truth. And truth makes people uneasy. The isolation phase. Right now you may feel alone. Like everyone is drifting away. Like doors are closing. But this is not punishment, this is preparation. God separates you before He elevates you. You're being set apart for a reason. There's a purpose on your life. A calling that can't be fulfilled in the same environment that tried to limit you. So God removes distractions. Even if it hurts. The pain had a purpose. Every betrayal, every heartbreak, every disappointment. It wasn't random. It was shaping you, strengthening you, awakening you. Turning you into someone who cannot be easily broken again. They tried to break you. Let's be real. Some people wanted to see you fail. They doubted you, they underestimated you. They thought you would give up. But you didn't. And that's what scares them. Your resilience is terrifying to them. Because no matter what they did, you kept rising. No matter how many times they tried to push you down, you stood back up. God is now intervening. This is where everything changes. You don't have to fight anymore. Because God is stepping in. And when He moves, no one can stop it. The removal has begun. Pay attention to what's happening around you. People are leaving, situations are collapsing. Things that once felt stable are suddenly falling apart. This is not chaos, this is divine order. Not everyone can go with you. Your next level requires a different environment, different energy, different mindset. And some people simply don't qualify. You're outgrowing your old life. It may feel uncomfortable, like you don't recognize your own life anymore. But that's because you're evolving. And growth always feels unfamiliar at first. The masks are falling off. You're starting to see people clearly now. No more illusions, no more blind trust. You can feel intentions without words. That's your spiritual awareness sharpening. Your intuition is your weapon. Trust it. That inner voice, that feeling you can't explain, it's guiding you. It's warning you, protecting you. Don't ignore it anymore. You were chosen, not randomly placed. Your life is not an accident. Every struggle, every delay, every test. It's all part of a bigger plan. A plan designed specifically for you. The darkness had to reveal you. Without the pain, you wouldn't awaken. Without betrayal, you wouldn't see clearly. Without loss, you wouldn't find your true self. Now you see everything differently. You think deeper. You feel stronger. You move smarter. You're not the same person anymore, and that's your power. They can feel your chain. Even if you don't say anything, people can sense it. They feel your growth, your detachment, your strength. And it intimidates them. You don't need validation anymore. You're no longer chasing approval. You're no longer explaining yourself. You're becoming comfortable in your own truth. This is spiritual authority. You're stepping into your power. Not loud, not forced, but real. And when it's real, it doesn't need to prove anything. God is clearing your path. Every obstacle being removed. Every person being exposed. Every delay being lifted. It's all making space for what truly belongs to you. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Don't give up now. You've come too far. Everything you've been through is leading to this moment. You're about to rise in ways you never imagined, in ways they never expected, in ways that will make everything finally make sense. Stay grounded, stay focused. This is not the time to look back, not the time to doubt. This is the time to move forward with full faith. You were built for this. Every hardship prepared you. Every struggle trained you. You didn't survive by accident. You are the chosen one. Not because you're perfect, but because you were willing to grow, to evolve, to endure. And now it's your time. Everything is aligning. Everything is shifting. Everything is working in your favor, even if you can't see it yet. If this message spoke directly to your soul, don't ignore it. This is your confirmation. Drop a comment right now and say, "I am chosen," if you feel this awakening happening in your life. And tell me, what changes have you noticed in yourself lately? Like this video, subscribe to Chosen Wave and stay connected, because your journey is just beginning. The separation is getting deeper. You may have noticed the distance between you and others is growing wider. Conversations feel forced, connections feel shallow. It's not that you don't care, it's that your soul refuses to settle for what no longer aligns. You're no longer entertained by illusions. Things that once distracted you don't work anymore. Fake love, fake friendships, fake energy. You see through it instantly now. And once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. God is breaking attachments. This part hurts the most, because it involves people you once loved deeply. But understand this: attachment is not the same as alignment. You're learning to let go. Not out of anger, not out of ego, but out of growth. You're realizing that holding on to the wrong people blocks the right ones from entering your life. Your silence is powerful now. You don't react the same anymore. You don't argue, you don't explain. You observe and you move differently. That silence, it's not weakness, it's control. They expected the old you. They thought you would keep tolerating disrespect, keep giving chances, Keep lowering your standards. But something shifted. And now they don't recognize you anymore. You're protecting your energy. Because now you understand. Your energy is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your time, your presence, your light. The more you elevate, the less you tolerate. That's the truth. Growth comes with boundaries. And boundaries reveal who was only there to take advantage. You're becoming untouchable. Not physically, but spiritually. Negativity doesn't stick to you the same way anymore. Drama doesn't pull you in. You've risen above it. God is strengthening your mind. You think differently now. More clearly, more deeply. You're not easily manipulated anymore. That's not coincidence, that's transformation. You're being redirected. Plans you had suddenly changing. Paths you were sure about closing. At first it feels frustrating. But later, you realize it was divine redirection. You're walking a higher path. And that path requires discipline. Awareness, detachment, faith. Not everyone is built for it, but you are. You're starting to feel peace in solitude. This is a big sign. Being alone no longer feels empty, it feels peaceful. Because you're finally connecting with yourself on a deeper level. You're no longer chasing anyone. You've stopped running after people. Stopped forcing connections. What's meant for you will come naturally. Your standards have changed. You don't accept the bare minimum anymore. You don't ignore red flags anymore. You've learned your worth the hard way. God is rewriting your story. What you thought your life would be is not what it's becoming. And that's a good thing. Because your old vision was limited. You were thinking small, based on what you knew back then. But now your awareness has expanded. And so has your destiny. Bigger opportunities, deeper connections, greater purpose. You're being prepared for more. More responsibility, more influence, more impact. That's why the pressure increased. The tests became harder. The challenges became heavier. Because you're being upgraded. You're not breaking, you're transforming. Even when it feels overwhelming. Even when you feel tired. Something inside you keeps going. That's your divine strength. It doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. A source that never runs out. You're becoming fearless. Not because you have no fear, but because you no longer let it control you. You trust God more now. Even when things don't make sense. Even when the path is unclear. You trust the process. Because you've seen too much to doubt now. Too many signs. Too many confirmations. Too many moments that couldn't be explained. You know something bigger is happening. And you're part of it. Not by chance, but by design. You're detaching from what once defined you. Old labels don't fit anymore. The identity you once carried feels che now. You're shedding versions of yourself that were built just to survive, not to truly live. And that process, it feels like losing yourself, but it's actually you finding who you really are. Your vision is becoming clearer. At first, everything felt confusing. Like you were lost in the dark with no direction. But now, small pieces are starting to make sense. Not the full picture yet, but enough to know you're on the right path. You're learning the power of patience. Not everything is meant to happen instantly. Some blessings require preparation. Some doors only open when you're fully ready to walk through them. And right now, you're being prepared. You're no longer reacting, you're observing. This is growth. You don't jump into emotions the same way. You step back, you analyze, you understand. Because you've learned, not every situation deserves your energy. Your circle is becoming smaller. And that used to scare you. But now, you're starting to value quality over quantity. One real connection is worth more than 100 fake ones. God is filtering your life, removing what's fake, exposing what's hidden, aligning you with what's real. It may feel like loss, but it's actually alignment. You're breaking generational patterns, things that ran in your family for years. Cycles of pain, limitation, misunderstanding. They're ending with you. And that kind of responsibility, it's heavy but powerful. You're not meant to live a normal life. Normal was never your path. You're here to do something different, to think differently, to move differently. That's why you felt misunderstood. People couldn't relate to you, couldn't understand your mindset. Your depth made them uncomfortable. But that was never your weakness. That was your uniqueness. Your difference is your power. And now you're starting to embrace it. You're letting go of the need to be understood. Not everyone will get you. Not everyone is meant to. And that's okay. Because you finally understand yourself. And that's enough. That clarity, that self-awareness. It changes everything. You're moving with intention now. No more random decisions. No more wasting time. Every step you take has meaning behind it. You're protecting your peace at all costs. Because you've experienced chaos. You've lived through confusion. And now that you've tasted peace, you refuse to go back. You're not afraid to walk alone. That fear is gone. You've realized it's better to walk alone in truth than to stay surrounded by people who drain you. Your faith is becoming unshakable. Even in silence, you believe. Even in uncertainty, you trust. That's a different level of strength. You're no longer seeking external validation. You don't need applause. You don't need approval. You know who you are, and that's enough. You're stepping into your authentic self. No more pretending. No more hiding. Just you, fully and unapologetically. And that energy is magnetic. The right people will feel it. The right opportunities will find you. Because authenticity attracts alignment. You're becoming a light for others, even without trying. Your journey, your growth, your presence. It inspires people silently. But not everyone will celebrate you. Some will envy you. Some will resent your growth. Because your evolution reminds them of their stagnation. And that's why God is removing them. Not out of punishment, but out of protection. Because where you're going, they cannot follow. You're stepping into a new frequency. It's subtle but powerful. The way you think, speak, and move has changed. You're no longer operating on the same level as before. And that shift, it's separating you from everything that can't match your energy. Old doors feel locked for a reason. You tried going back, didn't you? Back to old habits, old people, old comfort zones. But it didn't feel right anymore. Because those doors are closed, not by force but by growth. You're being pulled towards something greater. Even when you don't understand it. Even when it feels uncertain. There's a force guiding you gently but firmly in a new direction. Your soul recognizes what your mind can't explain. That feeling deep inside you. It doesn't need logic. It doesn't need proof. It just knows. You're no longer afraid of the unknown. Before, uncertainty made you anxious. Now it excites you. Because you've realized the unknown is where your next level exists. You're releasing control. You don't need to have everything figured out anymore. You're learning to flow, to trust, to surrender. And that surrender, it's unlocking doors you couldn't force open before. God is moving behind the scenes, even when you see nothing, even when it feels like everything is still. Things are aligning in ways you can't yet see. Your delays were not denials. They were redirections, protections, perfect timing being arranged just for you. You're aligning with your true purpose, not what others expected of you, not what society pushed on you, but what your soul came here to do. And that purpose requires isolation first, because clarity comes in silence, because strength is built in solitude, because distractions must be removed before vision becomes clear. You're being mentally rewired. Old thought patterns are breaking. Limiting beliefs are dissolving. You're seeing possibilities where you once saw obstacles. You're becoming emotionally independent. You don't rely on others to feel whole anymore. You've learned to stand strong within yourself. And that kind of independence, it's powerful. You're not easily triggered anymore. Things that used to upset you don't have the same effect now, because you've gained control over your reactions. You're choosing peace over being right. Not every argument needs your voice. Not every situation deserves your response. Peace has become your priority. You're attracting what matches your growth. New people, new opportunities, new energy, all aligning with who you are becoming. You're letting go of what no longer serves you. Without guilt, without hesitation, without looking back, because you finally understand your worth. Not based on opinions, not based on validation, but based on truth. You're walking with quiet confidence. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to announce your moves. You just move and let results speak. You're becoming unrecognizable to people who knew the old you, to environments that once held you back, to a life that no longer fits your spirit. And that's exactly what was meant to happen. You were never meant to stay the same. You were meant to evolve, to rise, to transform into something greater. You're entering a season of divine alignment. Everything is starting to connect. People, opportunities, ideas. It may not look perfect yet, but it feels different. Like pieces of your life are finally coming together the way they were meant to. What once confused you now makes sense. You look back and you see it clearly now. Why certain people had to leave. Why certain plans failed. Why certain doors never opened. Nothing was wasted. Not the pain. Not the delays. Not even the mistakes. Every single moment carried a lesson, and every lesson shaped who you are now. You're moving with divine timing. You're no longer rushing. No longer forcing things to happen. You've learned what's meant for you arrives exactly when it should. You're becoming comfortable with waiting, because you understand now. Waiting is not empty. Waiting is preparation. God is positioning you strategically. Where you are right now is not random. Even if it feels slow, even if it feels quiet, there's a purpose behind your current position. You're being watched, but not how you think. Not everyone watching you wants to harm you. Some are observing your strength, your growth, your transformation. Your story is inspiring others silently, even if they don't say it, even if they don't show it. People are learning from your journey. But remember, not all eyes are pure. Some watch with admiration. Others watch with envy. And that's why your protection is necessary. God is shielding you from hidden harm. Things you didn't even notice. Situations that could have hurt you. People who didn't have good intentions. All being handled without your awareness. You're being guided away from danger. Sometimes through discomfort. Sometimes through sudden changes. But always for your safety. You're no longer ignoring red flags. You see them early now. You feel them instantly. And you act accordingly. Your boundaries are stronger than ever. You've learned to say no. To walk away. To protect your peace without guilt. You're no longer drained by others. Because you've stopped overgiving. You've stopped pouring into people who never poured into you. You're reclaiming your energy. Pulling it back from places it was wasted. Redirecting it toward your purpose. You're investing in yourself now. Your growth. Your healing. Your future. You're becoming your own safe space. You don't look outside for comfort anymore. You've built that security within yourself. You're trusting your own decisions. No more second-guessing everything. No more doubting your instincts. You're standing firm in your truth. Even if others disagree. Even if others don't understand. You're no longer afraid of outgrowing people. You've accepted it. Growth requires separation. You're embracing change fully. Not resisting it. Not fearing it. But flowing with it. You're becoming mentally unbreakable. Stronger than your past. Stronger than your fears. Stronger than anything that once tried to hold you back. You're learning to let things be. Not everything needs control. Not everything needs fixing. You're living with greater awareness. Seeing beyond the surface. Understanding deeper meanings. You're connected to something higher. A guidance, a presence, a force. That has been with you all along. And now you can feel it clearly. Not just in moments of silence, but in every step you take. You're no longer questioning your path. There was a time you doubted everything. Every decision, every step, every feeling. But now there's a quiet certainty inside you. You may not know everything, but you know you're not lost anymore. You're walking with inner clarity. Not loud, not obvious, but deep. A knowing that doesn't need explanation. A direction that doesn't need validation. You've stopped forcing what doesn't flow. That urgency is gone. That desperation disappeared. You're no longer chasing things that resist you. Because you've learned what flows is meant, what forces is not. You're finally choosing yourself. After all the times you chose others. After all the times you ignored your own needs. Now you're putting yourself first. And that changes everything. You're breaking the need to be needed. You used to feel valuable only when others relied on you. But now you realize your worth is not tied to who needs you. It's tied to who you are. You're rewriting your boundaries. Stronger, clearer, unshakable. No more confusion about what you allow and what you don't. You're becoming emotionally disciplined. You feel deeply, but you don't lose control. You understand your emotions, but you don't let them control your actions. You're responding, not reacting. That pause you take now. That moment of awareness before you speak or act. That's growth. You're not entertaining negativity anymore. Gossip, drama, chaos. It doesn't attract you, it drains you. And now you recognize that instantly. You're aligning with peace over pleasure. Short-term excitement doesn't impress you anymore. You're choosing long-term peace instead. You're building a life that feels right, not just looks right. Not for others. Not for approval. But for your own soul. You're letting go of who you thought you had to be. That version of you, created by expectations. It's fading. You're becoming who you were always meant to be. Naturally, authentically, powerfully. You're trusting your journey without comparison. No more looking at others and questioning your timing. You understand now, your path is unique. You're moving in silence more than ever. Not everything needs to be shared. Not every move needs to be announced. You're protecting your vision, because not everyone will understand it. And not everyone is meant to. You're becoming selective with your words, speaking less but saying more, choosing truth over noise. You're listening more than you speak, observing, understanding, learning. You're tuning into deeper awareness, seeing patterns, recognizing energy, understanding intentions without explanation. You're no longer easily deceived, because you've learned the hard way. And those lessons stayed with you. You're walking away without closure, because you don't need explanations anymore. You trust what you felt. You're accepting what is without resistance. Not everything needs to be changed. Some things just need to be accepted and released. You're becoming detached from outcomes, doing your best and letting go of control. You're living with purpose, not pressure. Not rushing, not forcing. Just aligning. You're finally at peace with who you are becoming. No more confusion. No more inner conflict. You're standing in your truth without fear. Unapologetically. Unshaken. You're no longer afraid to lose people. That fear used to control you. The fear of being alone, misunderstood, left behind. But now you see it differently. Losing people is no longer loss, it's alignment. If you felt this, this wasn't just a video. This was a message meant to find you. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. Stay asleep or fully step into who you were meant to be. Because the truth is, God didn't bring you this far just to leave you here. Everything you've been through, every battle you survived, it was preparing you for this version of you. So don't scroll past this like it's nothing. Claim it, own it, step into it. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you're ready to walk in your true power. And tell me, what is one thing you've recently let go of that changed your life? If this message woke something up inside you, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Chosen Wave, and stay connected. Because this is not the end of your journey. This is just the beginning of your rise.